Hey everybody, Colton here, and we have finally gotten our first official glimpse of Doctor Doom in the MCU. Did you hear me? We have seen him. He is here. It is real. And what he is doing in this first glimpse tells us so much about what he plans to do in Avengers Doomsday and opens the door to so many questions about Avengers Secret Wars. So let's talk about this post-credit scene, what's really happening, and how it connects to the post-credit scene from Thunderbolts, and the post-credit scene that we will be getting in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And hey, while I have you, be sure to go check out our Iron Man and Doctor Doom pointing meme shirt. Now, in Fantastic Four First Steps, Galactus reveals that Franklin Richards is just as powerful as he is, and that Franklin can replace Galactus as the Devourer of Worlds. But that's not what happens. The team, with the help of the Silver Surfer, are able to send Galactus to the far reaches of the universe and save their son. Now, before this movie came out, many were anticipating that it would end with the Fantastic Four losing their fight against Galactus and their universe being destroyed, and that would lead to the team having to flee to another universe to survive, and that theory was then exemplified by us getting this scene in Thunderbolts.
Extra-dimensional ship entering atmosphere.
Extra dimensional, what does that mean?
So the theory for that Thunderbolts post-credit scene was that with Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars coming, that this post-credit scene might have kind of spoiled the ending of Fantastic Four by revealing that they were coming into the mainline MCU. But it turns out that it most certainly did not spoil anything about Fantastic Four. So now that we know that, the question becomes, how the hell do these two scenes connect? Well, come the end of the movie, we did get a 4-year time skip following the defeat of Galactus, and the team is still very much in their own universe. And I think that I now know exactly what is happening in these two post-credit scenes and how these two scenes are connected and setting up Doomsday and Franklin's major role in Secret Wars. Something that we know about both of these scenes is that they were both filmed on set of Avengers Doomsday and directed by the Russo Brothers. And it is possible that these scenes could even be scenes that are being pulled directly from the Doomsday movie and that we will see again in some form in Doomsday. So in this post-credit scene for First Steps with Doom, we see Doom appear in the living room of the First family's apartment, likely having teleported there from God knows where, and perhaps hinting at the possibility that Doom has gotten his hands on Reed's teleportation tech that he developed in this movie and then shared with the world in an attempt to take down Galactus. And it was already teased in Multiverse of Madness that there is some type of connection between a Reed Richards teleportation device and a Doctor Doom teleportation device. We've seen in the comics and in the other movies that Reed Richards does develop teleportation devices, but his teleportation device that we saw in Multiverse of Madness of this variant Reed Richards, it looks a lot like Doom's time platform. So perhaps we'll learn that maybe Doom and Reed in their college days worked together on this teleportation tech, and now they have both individually created their own version, or that Doom is using Reed's version after seeing it used in First Steps. So anyway, it was also in First Steps that we saw Latveria, Doom's country, and it is confirmed to exist in this universe 828. But he was not present at that Future Foundation meeting, and here in a sec we will talk about why. So in Doom's left hand, we can see that he is holding his metal mask, a very chrome but classic looking take on the mask. It's not Iron Man-esque like I had hoped it would be, but who cares? Anyway, so he is revealing his face not to us, but to young Franklin, and Franklin is reaching up and touching Doom's face. Now, this could be a hint that Franklin is healing Doom's face the same way that we see him resurrect his mother in this movie, and the same way that Doom has used godlike powers to heal his scarred face in previous iterations of Secret Wars.
The horrible acid burns that ruined your face, they're gone.
Yes.
But Doom isn't just here to get facial surgery. In fact, I think Doom getting his face fixed wasn't even something that was on his mind. Doom instead is focused on what Franklin's power means for Doom's grand plan to conquering the multiverse. And I think Doom took off his mask as a symbol of trust, kind of like when an animal shows you their belly. I mean, in the comics, Doom almost never takes off his mask. So him doing so for Franklin is huge. And I think that young Franklin may just be reaching forward and healing what looks like a painful scar on Doom's face without him even being prompted to do so. Franklin is just trying to help, and this will give Doom his first glimpse at how powerful Franklin is and how he can rewrite reality and how he has a loving, caring heart, something that Doom will certainly look to manipulate. But then my question becomes, why now? Why did Doom wait 4 years? Where has he been? Well, it would appear that he's been off-world. Like I mentioned a second ago, they even made a point to show his absence from that meeting of world leaders. So then the question becomes, he is off-world doing what? Perhaps looking to fill that power vacuum left by He Who Remains. Remember, Loki is sitting at the throne at the end of time, but all he's really doing is holding reality together so that we can all have free will. He's not dictating the multiverse like He Who Remains was. And something that can and does happen in Loki's multiversal tree is that universes are still able to just die of natural causes as a natural part of life. And we could learn that Loki might be a little in over his head on being able to keep this tree alive. So with He Who Remains and his variants being gone and heavily policed by the TVA, I think it's only a matter of time before another tyrant looks to fill that void. I'm of course talking about Dr. Doom. Now that's all something that I'm going to dive really deep into over on Screen Crush, so be sure to follow me there as well. Now, we also need to discuss how this post-credit scene connects to the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. When Thunderbolts came out, I speculated that this shot of the Fantastic Four rocket entering the MCU could be Doom on a stolen rocket, and maybe he even has a young Franklin with him that he took along with the rocket, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that Doom will be teleporting away with Franklin, just like he teleported in, except he will be teleporting to a different universe. And that will then lead to the Fantastic Four loading up in their rocket and traveling to Universe 616, chasing Doom and their son throughout the multiverse. And along the way, they will meet the Avengers, they'll learn about the space crisis that Yelena mentioned, and then we will see the Avengers and the Fantastic Four travel to the X-Men universe, which is where they have pinpointed Doom to have gone after leaving 616. Now, how are they tracking him down? Well, they likely have some way to track their son, maybe like with a chip, or Doom could be having Franklin do things for him with his powers that radiate energy that is detectable, similar to how the Avengers were able to track down Thanos when he would use the Infinity Stones.
When Thanos snapped his fingers, Earth became ground zero for a power surge of ridiculously cosmic proportions. No one's ever seen anything like it.
So Franklin Richards, as we see in the film and have known from the comics, is a very powerful being who is key to the events of Secret Wars. He can create entire universes with his mind, and Doom is prepping to use Franklin for this multiversal conquering that he plans to do. So that's one possibility. Doom kidnaps Franklin. But another option is that Doom is recruiting his old friends, the Fantastic Four, to join him in saving the multiverse. He may be genuinely reaching out to Reed for help. We could see Doom commend them for their work in saving the planet from Galactus, but then warn that a greater threat is coming, or that them saving Earth perhaps broke some type of canon event or nexus event, an event that destabilizes reality and is now causing an incursion, their universe to die. So we could see Doom and the Fantastic Four and young Franklin travel together in their rocket to Universe 616, and then somewhere along the way, Doom's villainous intentions could become clear, or perhaps him and Reed will have a difference in how they need to handle a certain situation. Perhaps Doom will decide that Franklin is just too young to manage his powers, and that he will need to instead take Franklin's powers, like we saw with Wanda wanting to take America Chavez's powers, but in doing so, it would kill her. So if Doom wants to take Franklin's powers, that could kill Franklin, and Reed could be like, no, we ain't doing that. We've already been through this once, not happening. And then that could create the big rift between Doom and his people, and then the Fantastic Four and whichever Avengers and X-Men are on their respective sides. Or maybe Doom kicks Sue's ass in this apartment in that scene when she tries to stop him from taking her son, and hey, I'm sure she puts up one hell of a fight. I mean, we saw her pretty much single-handedly take on Galactus, but if Doom gets the upper hand, we could then see him steal their rocket and blast off into another universe. And Doom's way of probably getting the upper hand would be threatening to snap Franklin's neck or something. So anyway, instead of teleporting out of there, we could see Doom and Franklin load up in the rocket and perhaps even use tech that Reed has been developing following his research into alternate dimensions dimensions to then be able to transport that rocket to a different universe. Kevin Feige has even stated, and many people with keen eyes have noticed, that the two rockets actually look different. Honestly, guys, the possibilities are endless, and I am so very excited that we have finally gotten our first glimpse at Doom in the MCU. Shit is getting real. So before we go, I do want to talk about the third missing piece to this puzzle of post-credit scenes, Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I'm anticipating that we are going to once again get a post-credit scene for that movie that is directed by the Russos and is likely from the Avengers Doomsday movie, just like these other two will likely be scenes from that film. With the Fantastic Four rocket entering the atmosphere and perhaps coming for New York City, which is where the Avengers Tower is and where the Fantastic Four are from in their home universe, it wouldn't be far-fetched in the slightest if Spider-Man quickly swings into action when he sees yet another extraterrestrial rocket entering the city. We could even get a great line of Peter saying something like, "Oh no, not this again," in reference to Avengers Infinity War and him having just had this close to the ground movie and feeling like he's found his groove as a close to the ground hero, you know, more of a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but now he's got to swing right back into the chaos of the multiverse. We could even get a great scene where Peter meets the Fantastic Four. That alone would be dope, but what if Peter approaches that landed rocket and instead outsteps a man whose face we do not see, and then we just cut to a shot of Peter with like confusion and shock, and he says, "Mr. Stark?" Alright guys, well those were just my thoughts and theories. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below, and be sure to check me out over on Screen Crush as well, where we will be covering Fantastic Four even more so. Can't wait to cover this movie with you guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you're new here to my personal channel, please do feel free to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. I've been Colton Ogburn, and I will see you next time. Bye!
You're still here. It's over. Go home.